Welcome to the Sisterhood Collective Podcast, where we empower women to break barriers, overcome limiting beliefs, and achieve true success. I'm your host, Laurie Drummond, entrepreneur and founder of 5 successful businesses. Join me as I share proven strategies, interview inspirational leaders, and provide behind-the-scenes insights to help you level up in your business, career, and in life. Because together, we can get further faster. Okay, let's dive in. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited that you have decided to come and listen to the Sisterhood Collective podcast. Today's our very first episode, and I have the 2 girls here with me, both Tegan and Lauren. Yay! And what we want to do today is tell you a little bit more about the Sisterhood Collective, the podcast, and why it's come about, and also tell you a little bit about our individual journeys that has brought us together. Throughout the podcast, we're hoping to be able to reach as many of you as possible and really share lessons that we've learned, with the aim of some of our real life experiences. And we're hoping that they'll resonate with you because we want to share how we've got through these moments and these situations of uncertainty, self-doubt, being lonely, being unsure, feeling overwhelmed, and sometimes feeling amazing, sometimes feeling powerful and motivated. What I found over time is that so many of my friends, which I like to call my tribe, because these are my people, they've also struggled and they've had similar feelings and similar situations. And it's when we come together and share these feelings together. And for me, it's usually over a nice long lunch. It's one of my favorites. We find we have the support with each other. And you might have experienced this situation before as well. We also have connections and, recommendations and resources that we can share with each other. Like I've got a lot of friends that should be connected because they're in exactly the same area of life as each other. So I want them to come together so that they can support each other through these times. And then it just helps us overcome these moments. So it led me to thinking, it's kind of one of our mottos or our mantras, that we are so much stronger together. So where this has kind of stemmed from me is that back in a past life, my old career, it became really clear. And look, I've got some memories here and they weren't all that good sometimes, but they're very clear to me that in my position in the military, I was put in a position with other women where we had to compete for acknowledgement or we had to compete for the same jobs. And rather than banding together, we have been turned against each other. And I just have such negative feelings and memories to this particular situation. It wasn't a great particular moment for me in my past career. And I really don't want others to feel like that. So it's extremely important to me that we women, we band together, we support each other, we grow together, we connect. And then I feel like when we do this, we can thrive. So what I did was I was overseas at the time and I reached out to Lauren and Tegan and I told them I had this vision of bringing women together so we could connect, grow and thrive. And I already knew before I even told them, I just knew that they were 100% on the same page. And of course they were, and the Sisterhood Collective was born. So I've got Lauren and Tegan here with me in the studio today, which I'm really excited because you have just got no idea what it's like when the 3 of us girls get together. But I wanted to introduce you to them and allow them to tell you a little bit about their story and, how we all met and then what led them to the Sisterhood Collective as well. So first we've got Tegan here, and I'm just going to let Tegan tell you a little bit about herself. So welcome, Tegan.
Thanks, Loz. So I guess I feel a bit the same as Laurie did about being, a woman in business. I felt like when I had my children, I had a mother's group and I had support, and we go through those transitions in life. And then all of a sudden we get a business or a career for ourselves and that support feels like it vanishes a little bit and we feel quite isolated and alone. Being a small business owner, I often felt like that. And I started reaching out and searching for help, for advice, for support, for guidance, for people who were like me and felt like I did. And I stumbled across Loz, who was my first and only business mentor. And Loz was able to give me all of those things. She showed me that I wasn't alone in my fears, my concerns, my isolation, and helped give me the guidance and to give me the courage and support that I could believe in myself, that what I was doing was on the right path, because I think we all doubt ourselves quite a lot, hence imposter syndrome, which I think everyone goes through. So having a connection with another woman who could help me then opened doors, and then all of a sudden now there's a huge network of women that I've been able to tap into, both in my own community, because now I know what it should look like, and I've been able to facilitate that for other women, and also helps me as well. So I'm so excited to be part of the sisterhood, because this is what we're all about, is connecting with women and supporting one another in our journeys.
And now you're kind of working with a really cool tribe, the three of us.
Yeah, I love it. I love that we can bounce off each other, we support one another, and we bring something different to the table, where we are all like, the three of us are like little besties, but we're also very different individual people. Our journeys and our stories are different. The way we see the world, it can be different. So collaboratively, it's amazing, because our skill sets are so diverse but cohesive. So it's amazing.
And so then that brings me to Lauren, who is going to share her story with us.
Yes, hello. Now, I don't know where to jump in here, but I'll go back a bit. I met Laurie, when we were maybe in our mid-20s.
Last year.
Yeah, not that long ago, yes. Let's just say it's been a while. However, it's lasted the test of time. We've never lived in the same place. We've traveled the world together, and she's gone through highs and lows with me. I've gone through highs and lows with her, but we've stayed consistent with each other. Like, we check in with each other and things. And when my life turned upside down a year ago, I was living overseas. I decided to come home and start again with my 2 young children. And I was lost, but also I guess I need to go back as well. I spent 8 years in Malta as a housewife, and I didn't do anything. I left home with hopes and dreams. I thought I was going to go and live in New York, or I'd go and live in Ireland and work for Google. And, there was just so much that I wanted to do. And then life happened. Then where I was in Malta, I had really good friends there, but no one ever wanted to do anything. I mean, I would chat to people and go, oh, we should start this business, or we should do this, or I need to make my own money, or I need to do something. I'm bored. There's only so much yoga and walks and taking your kids to the park. I wanted to do something for myself, but I didn't know where to start. And I guess I didn't have the confidence just to do something myself. And that made me feel bad as well, thinking, I'm not good enough because I can't start something. Anyway, so I came home, and before I came home as well, Laurie said, let's do this Sisterhood Collective. And I just jumped all over it because I needed that support, and no one's ever offered it to me before. Like, I guess I could go and look for it, but I just didn't know where to start. And I'll tell you that I've done more in the past year than I have in the past decade. But I've started something. I can see where it's going. I can see the value in what Laurie does and in what Tegan does, in getting mentors and getting help and looking for guidance, and how it can actually propel you forward. Like, everyone's got hopes and dreams and things that they want to do, but unless you actually take action, you can't do absolutely everything yourself. Someone else has already done it before. Someone's made the mistake. Someone's started something or failed at something, or they know people, they've got connections or things. You think you've got to do everything yourself, and you don't. And that's sort of what I've realized now. And I've also realized that you can have a big dream, but if it's broken down, it's easier to accomplish as well. If you just do a little bit each day, you just start, you just keep going, good things can happen. And I want to surround myself with women who are like that now, because it's a good feeling.
So we've all got this story, and I think I haven't really shared some of my story as well. And that is that I have had a couple of businesses now, and I still have quite a few. I've sold 2 of them, and I can't say that they were all successful, which is where I've learned a lot of lessons. And it is also where I realized at some point that business isn't just a hobby, which is kind of what I thought it was. It was a bit of a side hustle for me and a passion project. And after a while, I then had to start putting a lot of my own personal money in it just to keep it afloat. And that's when I realized that, hang on a second, this isn't really working for me anymore. I need to make this profitable for myself. So I actually sought out a mentor quite a few years ago too. And it was through this experience where, my revenue increased by 32% within the first 12 weeks, which was exactly what I needed it to do. And then I learned processes and systems, and I became a better leader. And then after a few years of a successful business, I decided that I wanted to be a business mentor. And so then I underwent an internship and became a business mentor. And I've been doing that for the past 4 years now, which is how I met Tegan. But since then, in the last 18 months, I've actually opened 4 more businesses. And so today I own 4 businesses, one of them being the Sisterhood Collective. And I still mentor other businesses throughout the world, which I absolutely love and enjoy. But I am a true believer of a couple of things. And one is that you are only as good as those that you surround yourself with. And it is one of the biggest life mantras that I live by. And the second thing is that I always have a mentor of sorts. Now, whether that's a life mentor or coach, or if it's a business mentor or coach, because I absolutely 100% would not be where I am today if I didn't have that. And so that is part of what Sisterhood Collective is also about, is that we not only help women live their best life by helping them identify their true purpose, helping them identify their true goals, and helping them create the steps to achieve them and make them accountable to that. So that's our purpose, is to help women do that at a couple of different levels. But we also have that ability to be able to do some mentoring and really impact people to take action. That is one portion of it. And the other part is just really connecting all of you women together and being your biggest advocates, being your biggest supporters, sharing all of the stuff that we have, the resources, the knowledge, the experience. And during the podcast, we'll be doing this. We'll be giving you some really authentic stories. This is real. This is real life. And we've got some amazing friends and inspirations and guest speakers coming on board in the future, which I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. But someone just asked me the other day, so how did you 3 come together? And kind of what has been, one of your most memorable experiences for the 3 of you? So before I actually share what mine was, because I don't want to take over the podcast, I'm going to let Lauren, why don't you go first? Tell us what's been your most memorable experience since being in the Sisterhood Collective so far.
It's a memorable experience. I guess meeting up all the time, maybe on these Zoom meetings that we have, even though we're all in different states. It's like we all come together, and I really enjoy that. Gosh.
I like how we did that last Sunday night. All 3 of us jumped online just to have it was a Friday night. I'm like, what are you doing on a Friday night? Just hanging out with you girls on Zoom.
No, it's nice, and it's nice. You can kind of just get advice all the time. Like sometimes you just think your friends and things don't have time for you, but I feel like now that we understand what the purpose is and what we're doing, that what it means to somebody else, to listen to them and to have someone to bounce ideas off or just to ask something. It is a community, and it's almost better than having your best friends. I mean, you've got your best friends, but you've got a community which is different. My best friend just happens to be in the room as well.
And I love that.
I don't know, it's different because I've got friends, but they don't want to know what you're doing half the time, or you try and tell them what you're doing and you see them looking somewhere else. Like if you tell them how good things are going, then you feel like an idiot as well. And then you don't want to complain about things or whatever, but it's just, I love this safe space that we've created.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about you, Tegan? What's been your favorite moment so far?
Oh, there's been a lot. Definitely a favorite moment was our meetup in Canberra, to see each other face to face. And I've never been to Canberra. I probably never would have gone to Canberra. So that's what the Sisterhood has given me already, is an opportunity to go somewhere and take a little trip for me. Yeah, so that's definitely been huge. And yeah, I'm a bit the same as Lauren. I feel like the connection that the 3 of us have and that we have with other members now in our Sisterhood is the same thing. We can talk about and bounce ideas without feeling judged or without people telling us that they know best and this is how it should be done, and giving us advice like that. It's good advice, it's sound advice, it's helpful and it's supportive, it's not judgmental and condescending, and it's all the good things.
So what some of you might not know is that the three of us met up in Canberra a few months ago to get some photos done, but it was also the first time that Lauren and Tegan got to meet each other in real life, which was pretty amazing. To bring everyone together. And Canberra is such a beautiful city. So it was just so nice to, kind of all come together there and do that photo shoot together. But I've got two favorite moments, and that one of them was trying to do a robot dance on one of our reels recently. And the other time was when it was about 9 o'clock at night and Lauren says to me, I need you to get out of bed and do this particular reel. And in my pajamas, I get out of bed and have a little giggle and then do some crazy dance move that she's asked me to do. The things we do for our friends, hey? It's always having fun. So I guess the last question before we close up this podcast, or this initial one, is what are you hoping to really give back to the community and the women out there?
I want, for myself, being a mum and a single mum, I thought that I just had to sort of get any old job, even though years ago I had aspirations. Now I know that I can do whatever I want to do. If I get help, if I've got a goal that I want to get a certain job or be in a certain industry, then it's possible. And I want to help mums and other people, but particularly because that's where I am in my life at the moment, to give them the opportunity to do what they want, to get back in the workforce, and that not to feel that they're undervalued because they've taken time off. I think that's the biggest thing. Even if you take time off, it doesn't mean that you don't have a skill set anymore, and that there's help out there, and you could do what you want, or you could get a job at home. There's so many things now. Everyone's working from home. It's just there's options now. You can be self-sufficient yourself alongside a partner as well. That's another thing, is some people feel that they're stuck because they're dependent on someone else. If you want to do something yourself, then you can.
Do you remember when you first came back from Malta and you said to me, what am I going to do, Laurie? Like, no one's going to want to hire me. Exactly. And I remember that very clearly, which broke my heart, because I remembered when you lived back in Melbourne and you had such a great job at the time, and we did travel the world together, but you had all these aspirations and these dreams. And then suddenly I felt crushed, thinking, what do you mean you've got no qualifications? You're amazing at what you do. And I couldn't see it from a different perspective to even say, what do you mean you can't get a job? Of course you're going to get a job. Anyone will want you and want to hire you.
It is, because also when you do have kids and you get a mother's group and you surround yourself with people and your friendships change, people just see you as a mum. A lot of people don't see who you were before you had children, and I think that's who you become, and you forget who you were.
And so are you starting to change your mindset on that piece? How do you feel right now?
Oh, I feel completely different.
And why? Why is that?
Well, because of you guys. I mean, I don't really know what I'd be doing now if it wasn't for you guys. I found my purpose now, of direction, and I can see how amazing my life can be now, rather than just sort of struggling. It's a weird feeling, and I have to think about it a bit more to put it into words. But I think it's just, I don't know, it's made a big difference in my life, and for the better. I'm excited to see where it goes. And I didn't know there was something like this out there. Like, I just thought people got mentors or did things, and, you'd think that someone would preach it on you, that, oh, you need to do this or whatever. And you don't actually understand the value behind it. Like, if you actually do something, you will get somewhere, rather than people talking about how good they are and, going to all these events to better themselves and things. Sometimes you can just look at them and go, oh, I can't do that, or I don't have time for that, and whatever. And then you kind of get not jealous or whatever that people are moving forward. And the fact is that you can just do it yourself. And I'm doing it, but because I've had help.
Yeah, I mean, many people sometimes they know what they want to do. They just don't know what the first step is.
Exactly. I know what I want to do. I knew that I didn't want just any old job, which I would have taken, but I wanted to do something for me. But how do I do it? How do I start? What can I do to fit in to my life now that I've got kids? I've got to take them to school. I've got to pick them up. I want to be able to, go to their school events and things like that. So I can't go back to the career that I had. I have to rethink it. And that's where I got stuck, because I was scared to apply for jobs because I thought it would just take me away from my kids.
And in fact, we've got a workbook that I think we'll link to this podcast, so that any of you out there, if you're wondering what your authentic self is, maybe what your purpose is, or what your destination is, where are you wanting to go? What does your best life look like? We have a workbook that we're going to attach to this podcast that you can download for free, and hopefully work through that book to try and get a little bit more clarity and focus as to maybe the direction that you're going. And sometimes if you can pinpoint that direction, you might know what that first step is. And if you don't, feel free to message us what your questions are or what your destination or outcome is that you're wanting. And I'd love to help you work through that problem. And then Tegan, what are you hoping to be able to provide from the sisterhood, from, I guess from your aspect?
Yeah, I think it's just that clear direction and a bit of guidance. I feel like my story is a little bit almost the polar opposite to Lauren's. I opened my business basically buying myself a job because I was like, what's my favorite thing in the world? I know, hanging out at the gym all day and working whenever I want and, making my own playground. So I did. I had all the confidence in the world. There was no way I was going to fail. I didn't care what people thought of me. I need a beeper for when I want to swear. People did, I copped it left, right, and center. I live in a small town, so I got a lot of judgment cast on me for being a woman, for thinking I knew what I was doing. And it all went fine, of course. I wasn't going to let it fail. But I did get to a point where I was like, I'm tired. I'm bored. I feel judged. I don't know what to do next. I never knew things existed like perfect day, goal setting, vision board. I knew none of these things. I didn't know what a business plan was. I had no idea. So when I hit the end of the road and I was like, oh, what do I do now? I wish that something like the Sisterhood had been around, either to help me start a business properly with systems and procedures and strategies and knowledge, and to have support of women to be like, you know what, I did this, it worked well for me, or don't worry, you made a mistake, who cares, we all do, move on. Like, just to have the tools, resources and community to help get through. I live in a small town, so naturally I Google everything when I need help because I didn't feel like there was a lot of support. I'd go down endless rabbit holes of like joining memberships, downloading PDF help guides, all this stuff, and it was just overwhelm and clutter. Like, I was like, I don't know how to implement these things. They don't apply to me because I'm in a different country or state, or it wasn't relevant. So to be able to have something that was streamlined and just to be able to pick out the pieces when I need them would have been so amazing. And I think that's the beauty of the Sisterhood, is being able to have those things and tools at your disposal without being overwhelmed of garbage. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, is giving back the knowledge I had, because the same as Lauren, I was like, well, I don't have anything to offer. Like, oh yay, I've opened a business and whatever. So do a lot of people. But I think I've learned a lot along the way that I'm ready to put back. And now people are asking me questions and they're asking me advice, and I'm like, oh wow, I do have something to contribute because I have walked that path and I know how rocky that road is. So yeah, I'm excited to support and be there.
And that's a big thing, is reflecting back on what you have achieved, which is why it's so important for us. We like to celebrate each other's wins, and we do that obviously amongst the three of us, but also within our groups in the Sisterhood as well, because people need to reflect and actually have a think about and have a look at what have you done, no matter how small it actually is. I think it's super important to see how far you've come back. So if you're standing at the top of that mountain, take a look back and go, man, I've done a great job. Look how far I've come. That's incredible. Then turn around, look further up that mountain and crack on, right? Look, thank you so much for joining us today on the Sisterhood Collective Podcast. We look forward to bringing you hopefully some exciting, some educational, maybe some funny, and some really, interesting and great speakers in the future. We hope you join us for some more episodes, and we look forward to chatting to you soon. So thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Sisterhood Collective Podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you want to be the first to hear what is new at Sisterhood Collective, you can find out more on our Instagram, or you can sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and let the good times continue to roll. Now it's time to turn your clear vision into bold action. I'm Laurie Drummond, your host, and until next time, keep striving to live that best life. Take care, and we'll see you soon.